I thought I'd produce an update video on my destination food plot planted in Seclusion 360 in the spring of 2023, just over a year ago. But first, let me refresh you on how this plot got to where it did. In late May of 2023, I traditionally disked, dragged, broadcast, and cultipacked this plot with Northwoods Whitetail Seed Company's Seclusion 360 clover and high percentage chicory content perennial blend. Liquid lime, calcium, and Pentacal soil enhancements were applied directly after planting as well. Early growth was slow due to the hot and dry conditions, but it showed promise. And by late June, the rains were showing up much more consistently. The wildlife used it as soon as it germinated, and I was pleased with the plot's growth results, considering the early dry period it went through right after planting. By late August, it was nearly 2 feet tall. By early October, the plot had become a major food source for the local deer population. And by early January, they had eaten it almost to the ground. Here's a close-up showing just how hard the deer browse the Seclusion 360 blend. With little snow cover, I was able to monitor and take note of areas where thin spots were showing up. Some were from my initial broadcasting errors, and others were from overbrowsing of deer. I took advantage of last winter's mild conditions and overseeded a mix of ladino white clover and some crimson clover in mid-February. Just look at this seclusion, guys. I overseeded it in places where it was thin this year, and my miscanthus is really coming up, so my miscanthus pinch point will be 100% this year. And this is doing really good. The clover's doing good. The areas that were, you can see, oh, and there's a deer bed right there. Right there's a deer bed. And you can see my thin spots that I overseeded with ladino and crimson, and it's awesome. Don't give up on your plots out there. It's often amazing just how much growth can be put on once Mother Nature decides to kick in. I decided to make a quick visit to the plot in mid-afternoon the other day to set my cell camera back up to monitor the summer's activity. This young buck was busy feeding and never heard or noticed my electric cart as I pulled in and parked in the shadows. It didn't take long and a doe enters the plot, assuring me of how attractive and secluded this food source is to the local deer living here on the Ponderosa. Eventually, both deer moved off the plot to their bedding cover to the north, allowing me time to set up my tripod and take this footage showing you just how well this 1-year-old perennial plot of 60% chicory and 40% white clover is doing after its rough start last spring. Not only does it look good, it's producing food for a variety of different wildlife, earthworms, bugs, snakes, amphibians, and clover pollen for the bees.